Before the Performante, Misha owned a Ferrari 488. I asked him to explain what set that experience apart from other cars he's owned.
If you wanted to buy a brand new car from them, they want their clientele to be passionate about Ferrari. So oftentimes they would sort of encourage you with maybe not the car that you want, or with buying some used cars, and they kind of want you to have a relationship with that dealership. Ferrari is just one of those brands, and I think that's why they could play the game the way that they do. And then everyone else has to sort of dance around it.
But I couldn't just take Misha's word for it. I had to research this for myself. Ferrari is unique when it comes to how they do their business. A typical car dealership will try to upsell you a car that you didn't even come to see. How many of you have gone to look at a used sports car and then been shown a new crossover? But according to a few articles I've read, and hearsay in the industry, Ferrari will actually do the opposite. You could be the biggest high roller in the world, but if you've never bought a Ferrari before, they'll only let you buy a used car in their inventory. Like Misha said, Ferrari dealers do this to really get a feel for the client and suss out whether or not they're really about that Ferrari lifestyle. But why go through all that trouble and potentially lose a customer? The answer itself is simple, but opens up a much bigger conversation, and that is demand. Ferraris are truly limited production cars. Ferrari produces about 8,400 cars a year. To put that in perspective, Honda produced just under 386,000 cars last year, making Ferrari's numbers look tiny. But there are huge differences in how Ferrari and Honda build their respective cars. Ferrari tries to build as much of the car by hand as possible, which adds to the brand's aura. Handcrafted will never go out of style. But this way of building things is much slower and caps production in the process, which can cause some customers to wait over a year for their car. Ferrari is not the car maker for those looking for instant gratification. In spite of the limited production, there are still tons of people out there who want a prancing horse of their own and are willing to wait for it. So many, in fact, that it becomes way easier to understand why Ferrari and their dealers can afford to be more discerning when it comes to who gets to buy one. So that begs the question, who gets to buy one? In an interview with Drive.com, Ferrari Chief Marketing Officer Enrico Galleria revealed the process for getting into the company's good graces. Ferrari personnel set guidelines for every limited run model, with presumably more stringent demands for rarer cars like their LaFerrari, for example. Not only do prospective customers need to have an extended history with the brand, including owning multiple Ferraris, but the customer must maintain a relationship with Maranello by attending events like the Cavalcade Road Rallies, where Ferraris meet up in the hundreds and go for a drive. Another way to curry favor with Ferrari is to sign up for their exclusive racing school in Italy, as well as attend high-profile motorsports events like WEC and Formula One races. Basically, you're doing a lot of networking, making sure the people that matter know your name, and I'll tell you right now, there's no way I'm approved to buy any Ferraris. They definitely know I'm in the wrong tax bracket. Getting in Ferrari's good graces goes beyond buying a few cars, and it's its own side hustle, basically. And the crazy thing is, going above and beyond to develop that relationship doesn't even guarantee you a spot on their supposedly titled preferred owners list. Ferrari won't publicly acknowledge the existence of this policy, but people who have tried and failed to buy a prancing horse will tell you it's all too real. I won't name any names out of respect, but plenty of Ferrari heads, huge fans of the brand, have checked all the boxes and still came up short in Ferrari's eyes, missing out on super limited cars like the Enzo, the LaFerrari convertible, and the SF90. It's insane to me that even when it comes to something as expensive as a Ferrari, money can't buy you everything. But I also kind of respect that as well. In a world where high fashion brands have become streetwear with labels begging celebrities and influencers to wear their clothes, companies bending over backwards chasing clout, Ferrari hasn't sold out. If they don't like you, they won't sell to you. And honestly, I think that's pretty sick.